I am through the athlete.
I am through the athlete. Watch the replay.
Good evening and welcome again to another edition of the replay where we still trying to make your day. I am your host, Jabril A. Rashad, and we're featuring tonight I Am Student Athlete, bringing you part 2 from last week's show that we did regarding the up and coming youth educational entrepreneurship summit 2025. And of course, I told you guys last week, if you joined us, that I will have another 6 or 7 special guests that are coming on with me for part 2 of this. But before we bring them to the stage and get into any of that, I need for you guys to please hit that subscribe, like, and share button for me as we still growing this wonderful channel. I want to bring you all the best possible content that I can bring. So again, guys, you all have seen the post. You've seen some of the things that I've been videoing and uploading regarding this particular topic that we're going to be discussing again this evening regarding the youth summit that I think is definitely a need. I think some people would call it a state of emergency. Again, I call it a crisis because it's an alarming number. I don't think a lot of people really realize that's on the rise with our youth. And it's almost as if they just have retarded their thinking even more, I think, to a detriment. You know, when I think about the 80s and the 90s and so forth, but we have to do something about it. God put it on my heart, and I'm one of those individuals. When I see something needs to be done, I just take the bulls by the horn and try to assert and do it myself. I'm not going to wait on a whole lot of people. So in the process of doing that, God would definitely give you the people in your path to bring to the stage and so forth to be able to help and support you with such a wonderful task and operation like this. So without any further delay, I'm gonna bring these gentlemen to the stage one by one. Some you may know, some you may not know, but if you know all of them, then that's even better. So I'm gonna start with the first individual whom I've known all my life. I've known him all my life because he's my brother. I want to bring Marcus Cooks to the stage. Good evening to you, my brother. This is the prison activist. He goes into the prisons and doing his thing, doing the work of God, man, in the ministries and so forth, teaching those brothers, helping those brothers. He's doing a lot. Good evening to you, brother.
How you doing tonight, man? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, little bro. Yeah, man, I'm glad that you joined us, man. And we got a lot to cover this evening, so I'm not gonna hold you. I'm gonna bring the next person to the stage. Here's another individual. I'm just kind of delaying this next individual because y'all probably hadn't seen him in a little bit. But yes, he's back. He's in the house, and he's still one of the baddest attorneys around, if you ask me. And he's also my brother. I want to welcome Mr. Ray Jackson to the stage. What it do, little brother? It's my other little brother.
You brothered out tonight. How you doing, big bro?
Hey, man, you got it. I'm so glad to see y'all two faces, man. I know I'm secure now. I feel good. I got bronze brains around me. I feel good. And last but not least, well, not last but not least, I'm saving the best for last. I think I'm going to bring this next brother. He's like a brother to me. May not be my biological brother, but he's still my brother just the same. Is none other than that former hard-hitting safety from Nebraska. I call him Action Jackson. You just might call him TJ or Tim. Welcome to the stage, Mr. Tim Jackson. It's been a minute, my brother.
Yeah, my brother from another mother.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And of course, now it's time for me to say last but not least, man, this individual, man, he's joining us. And I mean, he was flying down the highway all the way from Arizona, man. But I'm so glad he was able to get on He's a special individual, special human being, man, and he's known throughout the community as Headache, but it's Steven Smith. Headache, welcome to the stage, man. I don't know what you done did with your camera, but hopefully you'll get back on with us. I don't know, y'all. He's kind of buffing right now. Y'all can see he's buffing a little bit, but he's gonna be back on with us whenever he get ready. But we already on the show, and we are live bringing this to you guys on through YouTube as well as Facebook. So this is where you're catching us at. And again, for those of you who don't know, who are new, there he is right there.
Hey,
There he is right there. It's okay.
Hey.
We saw you buffing.
when you said hard hitting Jackson and my man Carl, hey, y'all had me nervous, man. I hit the wrong button. My bad.
All right, well, you back with us, man. So glad to have you on, Headache. And I'm telling you, it's truly a blessing. So as I was saying, for those of you all who are not familiar with what I do, I do have two shows. One is a podcast called Black Boxer Podcast, where we talk about a lot of things in the community, social environment, and so forth, and what's happening. But this show in particular deals with the world of sports and deal with our young people. This is a feature that we do called I Am Student Athlete. And as I've already stated, we got an up and coming youth summit, youth educational entrepreneurship summit 2025 that will be at Wilmer Hutchins High School auditorium on Friday, March the 28th. That's on a Friday. It starts at 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. and doors will open at 5:30 p.m. And the admission is free. So there will be no excuse for this. All you got to have is your energy. As you see the guys that's on this platform tonight, as well as the guys that was on the platform last week, I got some heavy hitters. When God gave this to me, I really thought it out well, and this is how God gave it to me, so I follow the command of God. So again, I want to welcome each one of y'all to the show this evening, and we're gonna get right into it because I got a couple of videos I want to get into in a second here, but just at the outset, and Tim, I'm gonna come. Somebody got if you don't mind, if you got something in the background, turn it down because I'm getting some feedback. Just check. You may sometimes you may get into it and don't even realize it. Or you can put your mic on mute until you're ready to start speaking. That'll help me tremendously. Just put your mic on your mic on mute. So Tim, I'm gonna come to you first regarding this particular question right here. And what I basically want to know, everything that's going on within our community, within our society, with our youth, a lot of is happening right now. I think again, as I stated earlier, we're in a state of emergency. I also believe that there's a crisis that's going on, and I think for whatever reason we have become desensitized. Whether if that's through the media or just the things that we see every day. We got kids running up in the wrong houses looking for somebody, and that they got the wrong address. So they, killed this, and we'll be showing that in a second. Killed this woman and had the wrong address. Then we got them running up into a 19-year-old house looking for him. They shoot the sister. And of course, all of us heard about what happened over in Fort Worth at the car wash with the young man, the rapper, and his child, who had absolutely nothing to do with nothing. She's an innocent baby. So we got to talk about the state of emergency, Tim. And I want to come to you first and foremost. This question is simply this. With what's happening today, I'm going to include sports in this because I just think sports is such a great equalizer. I was saying a second ago off air how we built things. We built our gold carts. We didn't have a track meet, or we raced in the street. That was our track meet. We didn't have a basketball to go wreck at. We built the basketball in the rim in the backyard. So Tim, the percentages of what when you see this, what do you think the percentages is today with the common young athlete today in terms of them playing the games outside the home versus playing the games inside the homes with the P2 systems and all these other gaming that they do?
That's funny. I was thinking about that a lot of times. I have two kids. I get them outside, but when they're not around me, they don't get outside as much. And I would say that about 25% is about the percentage. We was outside. Hey, I think we were outside every day, almost 100%. But it may be, with all other kids, not including our family, maybe 75% or something like that. We have rainy days and stuff like that. Even though we played in the rain. We used to have a little thing where when the water was rushing down the side of the curb, we'd make little boats and we'd race them in the water. We did everything. So it didn't matter if it rained, it didn't shine. Like you said, we built go-karts, right? We built we built a tricycle. We take the wheels off of a lawnmower, take the rail off of it, you know, hammer it in, put the nails on there, baby, make the sticks with the wire. And we have a whole board. So we did so many different things. We built houses. We got a little clubhouse. You sit in. We built a dog house for the dog. So
Right.
so we learn how to do things with our hands. So that allows us allows us to fail. See, so many kids don't get a chance to fail. So their self-esteem they don't have any resilience. So when they get a chance to when they fail and they don't know how to overcome things. And they quit. They will quit on something so quick because they fail and don't realize, hey, you got to overcome it. You got to be resilient. You got to keep fighting through. And so many quit, and so many get so quick to anger because they get angry just playing the game, and they have no social skills. They're not meeting with each other and seeing that, hey, there's not much difference between us. There's not much difference between us. So we have to have time to actually help each other, lift each other up, and also our kids got to get outside and socialize with each other. You know, I take my kids to the park, and they play with all kind of different kids. And my daughter, she's so social. She taught my son to be social. If I didn't take her to the park so she could get out, my son would have been a recluse because he didn't like to socialize. But because of her, she now gets out. He plays with everybody now too. He can play with all kind of people, speak to him because my daughter taught him, and they wouldn't have done it if it was outside because there would have been no format for them to actually show that. And she's a different grade than him, and he wouldn't have got a chance to do that because she's in the upper grade and she would never got a chance to do it at school because they're in different classes. So she's able to do that because I took him to a social setting and she got a chance. She left him and said, hey, you go play with them kids over there. And he would have to go play with those kids over there because she taught him. I just let that form. So there's so many different ways we got to teach our kids to socialize, to be resilient, to what leadership is. All these different things are formed in sports, as we talked about. As I move to sports teach all those things. They get a chance to socialize. They get a chance to form skills. They get a chance to realize they can overcome things. They get a chance to fail and succeed. So those opportunities come through sports. And that's why we're so involved in sports. That's why I love sports so much.
Absolutely. Ray, I want to come up to you and ask you that same question in terms of the percentages. When you see these young people, man, that's playing so many of these games, do you think that the percentage of that is, I guess you would say, is it less than in terms of them being outside that what we see, or do you think the percentage is higher with them playing the games within the household?
Oh, it's definitely higher with them playing the games in the household. See, we get to that ageism where we start talking about when we were young, but it's true. When we were young, it was different. So when we were young, a community around us was our village. So you knew your neighbors. You knew all the people in the neighborhood, everybody down the street. So you can go outside, as Tim was saying, and stay out all day and have these games and play. The percentage of people now, they don't know the people around them. They don't know their neighbors. They're not vested in the community. There's not a lady in the community that will whoop you and send you home to get whooped by your mother because you were doing something at her house. So we've lost that, right? So now you have all these kids who are staying inside, playing PlayStations or Nintendos or whatever they're doing, and they're not, there's so much to sports where being outside, the camaraderie, the part of becoming a man, with sports, but also being out on the streets with your neighbors, getting into fights and learning how, after getting into fights, to reconcile them as men, even as little boys. You're learning those things, right? We can disagree. We can still be friends and hang out. You can play with one another. And when you're poor, then you learn to be ingenious. So you create a basketball goal out of a rim, and put it on a pole and you play. Or you play football without a football, but any kind of ball that you have on the streets or in the pastures, or you're running track on the streets, you're barefooted and racing and doing those things. So it's a different generation now, and I think it's really a lost art because your mothers would tell you to stay outside, don't be coming in and out, messing up or wasting my good air. Stay outside. They wanted you outside, and that's where we stayed. That's where we developed. So they don't have that anymore.
Yeah, I think I definitely can agree with you, concur with you on it, because I think that's a lost art for whatever reason. But Marcus, I'm gonna come to you and ask you the same question in terms of that percentage, because when we was coming up, we had the I think the one game that came out that everybody remember was Doc Tari or something to Doc Tari, where the ping pong ball just kind of went. But
Yeah.
it's one of those deals where I remember just running through the apartments and we was playing. Well, we got a tennis ball and we took a piece of chalk, drew it around the stairwell to the second floor, and we said, well, that's the goal right there. And if your ball hit that, you scored a point. But I'm coming to you on that, Marcus, in terms of the percentage. The same question: is the percentage less or is it higher in terms of the kids playing outdoors or playing inside the house?
Well, this is what I got. This is my ideal of it right here. When I think about that question, I have to be real with myself, man, and I have to put myself back in that position when I was coming up. Was it fair to be inside the house? Was it fair to be outside the house, man? But I'm gonna tell you something. The real true fact is, black men as fathers, it wasn't no fathers in the household, period. So let's get it clear. So we had to learn what we had to learn on our own as black young kids growing up. If it was good or bad. Some had a good choice in it to do it the right way, and some had a choice of doing it the wrong way. Now check this out. Sometimes if you got to pay for that lesson, that's a lesson that you have to pay for. Sometimes if you listen to the older heads, you don't have to pay for that lesson. So is it safe to be inside to learn the rules of life than learning it on the outside? Sometimes the blessing of the haven is gonna go everywhere. A lot of black kids don't make it. And I was one of those black kids coming up, man.
Yeah.
God had a different angle on my life. So that's when I go back inside the prison. I go back in there. I remember those brothers that's in there, in the struggle. After doing 17 and a half years, man. But I can sit back and look at it right now. I've been on the ground 21 years, man. And I ain't have to look back for nothing. I ain't shame about nothing. So just to answer that question, man, it's a decision that we as kids, as grown people, black kids, white kids, it don't matter. We have to make good decisions in life, man. Absolutely. That's just what it is. I don't sugarcoat it. I'm gonna tell it like it is.
Yeah,
that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
Man, look here. I'm 57 years old. I was told as a young man I wouldn't make it see this age, man. And I know the life I live. But to be on this side of it, have a clear mind. To have a clear mind, not chemical burnt and all that.
Right.
Have a clear mind.
Right.
To be able to think. Because a lot of times we not good thinkers. To become a good thinker, say, man, that's an awesome tool to use. You know what I'm saying? So I might have got a little bit over here, but that's just how I feel about the whole situation, man. If I'm gonna tell the truth, I got to go back in my generation. I got to go back into my past. I got to go back and tell you how I had to receive this life. You know what I'm saying? So to be able to help somebody, we got to be good thinkers, man. We got to be good thinkers. See, one thing about it, if you got 1,000 people ahead of you or sitting around you, it doesn't matter. It's not about you trying to save all of them. But if you could just save one of them, just water that seed on one of them. He'll water the next seed. You just do what God wants you to do. That's my life, man. So that's what I think about it, bro.
No doubt, man. I can definitely concur, man. Mark is gonna give it to you. He's gonna give it to you raw, uncut, without any filter. He's always been that way, and that's just the way he is. Before I come to you, Headache, let me just welcome everybody that's still coming on to the show. This is the replay where we're still trying to make your day, featuring I Am Student Athlete, and we are talking about the up and coming Youth Summit, Youth Education Entrepreneurship Summit at Wilmer Hutchins High School, Friday, March the 28th. from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. This is a state of emergency. I call it a crisis. It's time that we get out the line dance. We're not trying to find where them fans at. We trying to see where them parents at. We need real boots on the ground. This is serious business. There's a lot going on. I'm gonna play a few videos after I come to Headache on this same question that we're asking, question number one, in terms of this state of emergency or this crisis regarding, sports, because I think, again, sports is a great equalizer. What is the percentage do you think, Headache, in terms of kids being able to play outdoors or playing outdoors? They can play outdoors, but we don't hardly see it as much versus them playing the games within the house.
I take this as a prank because you're going to have me to go behind triple OGs that just gave you everything you need to hear. You had TJ break it down. Then you had RJ break it down. Then you had my man Marcus go straight to the hood. And you're going to ask me that question? I'm the youngest man on this thing. Man, please play your video. They just gave, hey, I agree with everything they said. I'm lost for words because, all of them kept it real. Man, this new millennium, they different.
Yeah.
I got all girls. Unfortunately, I don't have no boys. They built different, man. They can't. We can't go back to old school days like we used to do it. We used to get out and go get it. Now they spoil all of their ass bougie. I mean, excuse my language, but man, it's different now, man. We have to. It's like all of the OGs, everybody that's on this line, all y'all consider OGs to me because y'all was before me. Y'all the one that paved the way for us. But we have to restructure what we went through. That's why we can't raise our kids in South Dallas. We don't want our kids in South Dallas, Oak Cliff, Highland Hills, this and that, because of what we went through. So we moved to Cedar Hill, Lancaster, DeSoto. That's why all that now is considered hoods, because everybody move one step over and think they get out of the hood, and nah, it's still the same. Man, they're just different, man. I can't even elaborate on what all the OGs just said. They are all correct. Man, play the video. What they said, that's what it is.
You're right on, but you're right about that though, and I share that with people a lot of times too. You don't see a lot of the activity because parents that and especially in our era grew up wanting something better, because even our ancestors before us wanted something better, and everybody migrated to a different area of town. I mean, most of us, if we can remember, started either from West Dallas or South Dallas. Then we moved to Oak Cliff because Oak Cliff didn't have us over there at one particular time. But I do remember when my grandmother bought the house over on the street called Karaoke and Singing Hills. That kind of started that whole migration, if you will. So I get exactly what you're saying in terms of how we just migrated, and we've been migrating for a long time, man. That's how we left. People left Alabama, going all the way to California, all the way up to Detroit and Chicago. But go ahead.
I'm going to say this. My mama, I was born and raised in South Dallas. My mama called herself getting me out the hood and moved me to Pleasant Grove. And then on the summertime, thought she was getting me out another hood. And I went and stayed on Judge Dupree over there with Mookie in Highland Hills. And I went from hood to hood to hood. And all of them was the same. So, you know what it is.
Yeah, no doubt. I know exactly what it is. But I just wanted to raise that, to kind of start the show and everything regarding that particular question, because again, you don't see a lot of, we just played all day long. I don't care if we played apartment to apartment, street to street. We was out there. I did it all. Coming up in Royal Crest Apartments, man, over by Oak Cliff Boys Club. You could see me all up and down, man. The apartments just balling, whether if it was street or whatever. And then leaving there, have an opportunity to go over to Wilmer Hutchins in Highland Hills, man. Or before then, even at Singing Hill, we was out there balling. Going up to Robert L. Thornton, playing in front of the school. Throw up tackle. You name it, we did it. And we developed our talents that way. We really got what coaches did we have growing up? I'm talking about really like where you going to get these personal coaches, training coaches, one-on-one. Man, don't let me start down that road. But I just had to bring that question. But let me kind of switch gears a little bit, because what I definitely wanted to do was get into the video part of this, because we're still talking about the state of emergency. And when we see this next question, and think on this while we're watching the videos about the system in and of itself, how we should go about moving today. Because right now, I definitely believe that we need a new normalcy, man, in terms of what's all happening, I should say. Should we eradicate the system, or should we just keep it as is? But when we watch these videos, I'll come to you first on this here, Marcus, when you see it, and then we'll just work our way back around like that. But let me play several of these clips, and we'll go from there.
Hurtful.
The family of Alice Fisher packed up the 57-year-old's apartment Friday.
It hurts, man. It really hurts.
Sifting through the pieces of a life cut short. A hail of bullets meant for someone else, killing Fisher as she sat in her recliner Wednesday night, her family says.
Hey, it's all done. But she didn't deserve it. She did not deserve that.
Fisher's family says a group of men in ski masks broke down Fisher's door, began firing, and then left. Evidence markers point out the bullet holes all over the apartment. Video handed over to police capturing the men as they approach Fisher's door.
It's scary because, like, you can be here enjoying your life, and guys out here, thugs out here are just senseless people, evil, no hearts. They just want to do something to get a name or do something for the wrong reason.
Dallas PD hasn't released a motive or info about the suspects, but Fisher's niece saying this.
People in the neighborhood are saying it was mistaken identity, it wasn't meant for her.
And that checks out. Fisher was disabled and mostly confined to her apartment. She got around in a wheelchair and was killed after a stay in the hospital, according.
All that's left at the scene are these two big bullet holes. Police say Kenzia Perry got caught in the crossfire. Her grandmother says she was an innocent bystander. The family of Kenzia Perry is desperate for answers.
Kansas was just there in the midst of it. I don't know why. I still can't understand why she got the bullet.
Witnesses told police two people got into a fight, pulled out guns, and started shooting at each other. It happened Saturday night just before 8 p.m. here in the parking lot of this strip mall in West Dallas.
And it's children here. It's innocent people walking around here every day.
Kenzia Perry lost her life when she was hit by a bullet.
This evening, a warning about a rise in crime involving teens. Houston Crime Stoppers leaders are urging more young people to come forward with tips.
We've become increasingly concerned with the state of our youth, with the violence that we see, and we are committed this year to doing something about it.
That message from Houston Crime Stoppers today in a press conference announcing their efforts to stem the rising tide of juvenile-involved crime. Officials saying Crime Stoppers' anonymous tip system has already worked to keep students and schools safe.
Okay, guys. Let me just kind of set this up because this question right here is so important because we're talking about the system in and of itself. Now, here's the deal. And this is one of the reasons why I'm on record saying, you know, I'm reminding myself of when I was doing a math problem as a youth, and it was a frustrating problem that I couldn't solve. And the teacher said to me, you know what the problem is? You're spending too much time on the problem and you're not working on the solution. And that's a lot of times of what we do. We spend too much time looking at the problem and not working on the solution. Furthermore, you got all this going on. And when I'm on social media, I see these line dances Oh, they got them down too. Oh, they can put the left foot up and the right foot and spin it around. And oh man, they got it down. They can have a fan. They hit the fan and do it 3 times with the leg. They do all of that. Then they send out a flyer and say, hey, you know, so-and-so's throwing a party. Be there. They get razor sharp. I mean, dressed down to the T's. But then when you ask them to do certain things in terms of the community and helping our babies, helping these youth, because again, as Marcus said earlier, we won't get them all. We won't save them all. But don't tell me that we can't try. We ain't talking to just anybody. We talking to somebody. So don't tell me that we can't just try when we see what's going on. So what's going to be the response? See, I'm asking the question now in the human flesh. But wait till God asks you that question. Because see, it won't be no excuses on that day. Nah, not on that day. And so again, somebody is answering the bell, so to speak, and then you making it free, right? Because God is blessing me to come out of my pocket, so you're making it free. And like all of us, man, we got time. Our greatest asset, I've said it once, I said it 1,000 times. The greatest time that we have is that the currency that we have is our time. So for me to reach out to each and every last one of you, especially the group that we had on last week, and I'm talking about everybody's on board, man. It just only further lets me know that this is real and what we're about to do is real. And so when you see stuff like this, bullets hailing out, I'm talking about one of the guys that got shot, the little youngster that was running, he was unalive. So he's no longer with us. And you can hear him screaming out on the concrete if you was able to hear it. They just, the doorbell, the Ring doorbell just happened to catch it. So this stuff is happening. And so my question is right now today, and I know it's a rhetorical question for me, and I think I know you guys' character, and I'm kind of already knowing what you probably would say, but I still want you to speak to it anyway. I'm coming to you first, Marcus, in regards to the system in and of itself. Do we need to eradicate it, or do we keep it as the same normacy of what's been happening?
No, it need to be changed. It's something got to change, man. In order to get a different result, something got to change. The bottom line is, man, my heart hurts, but I have to see this now. It's like, what is this world really coming to, man? For me to be able to live on this side of the track and grow up. See, first of all, I had to grow up. I had to grow up, man. And it hurts. It really does something to me when I see these type of things that take place. And these youngsters don't even realize the outcome of this situation. Because once they get them handcuffs put on and put up, and they get in them little holes, them holding facilities, they want to call mama, they want to call dad. Ain't nobody can help them, and they don't even realize the situation. Just trying to be cool, trying to hang with somebody to feel like you somebody. If you got to hang with somebody to feel like somebody, excuse me, man, you're a damn fool. You're a damn fool, man. Damn. I had to realize that in life. And I'm not, you know, like I say, I wanted to be cool. I wanted to hang out. I done it, man. And for me to realize life now, and to see this stuff that's going, I see it every day, man. I deal with people every day at my job. And to see, and I can see it. Man, I'm telling you, they want to come in high. They think they cool. Say, brother, you need to grow up. And when we see these youngsters out here today, it ain't just boys. It's girls too, man. It's young ladies doing this stuff too, man. It's young ladies calling and setting up guys to get killed. This is what's happening, man, in our youth. So to be able to identify with these people, I ain't gonna say people. These are people. But we got to be able to help these young thugs, want to be thugs, think they tough. Like I say, we ain't gonna be able to save them all. because one of them gonna be hard headed. And I understand that one gonna be hard headed. So that one that wanna be hard headed, that's the one I need to talk to. Because I was that youngster before too. I was hard headed. I was hard headed, man. So I had to pay for it. But that's the one I need to grab and hold on to. And a lot of time, man, as growing up, the parents, the grown-ups, they not even embracing their kids anymore, man. They not even having these conversations with these kids anymore.
Right.
Because the mama ain't number like 5 years older than the son. So they basically growing up together.
They skip steps, yeah. I agree.
So this world is but it's gonna take us as a man, as a body to save our community, man. This platform that you got going, bro, I'm proud of you. I'm proud, and I'm proud to be in the mix of this, because this is what God has placed in my life to do. I made a promise to God. They say you can't make no promise, you can't make no deals. Guess what? I said, Lord, if you open the doors and let me out, I'll do anything I need to do to glorify your name.
Absolutely.
And he's been blessing me, man. I walk in grace. So it's my duty, it's our duty to reach back and grab these brothers and sisters and give them a whole new vision of life, man. So I think that's what we are here for. To give these kids a different view. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And every word I'm clinging to, because the genesis of us, and even Ray, hadn't always been the greatest of times or the greatest of moments. But God saw fit to see us through. We grew up in some areas. Absolutely. We grew up in some areas. But I'm going to say this also, to piggyback on what Marcus is saying in terms of being, us galvanizing one another, because I'm only one person. I'm only one person. And I told this, I explained, I think me and Tim was talking off air early, and I said it's a we thing. See, God is not selfish in anything that he does. He constantly creates every day. He allowed us to borrow from his creation. So the deal of it is, when you talk about, you got these kids out there and they just swinging in the dark, man. They don't even know where the pitch is coming from. They just swinging in the dark. And then you got these almost like they've been institutionalized and ain't even been nowhere, intellectually speaking, suppressing themselves and then becoming desensitized with their child. Because if they're not raising the right way, man, they got to be, afraid of their own child. And I've always said I'd rather be 6 feet under before I let my seed try to run me, to frighten me. So Ray, I'm coming to you now, brother. I'm coming to you. And let me just say this for those of y'all who are just coming on. This is the replay. We're featuring I Am Student Natalie, where we're talking about the up and coming youth summit, the Youth Educational Entrepreneurship Summit. That we're serious about this. We got a lot of things to do, because the theme is trying to create a new culture. We cannot continue to go on with this normalcy, and people becoming desensitized as if they turn a blind eye now. I can go through scripture after scripture after scripture, if that's your disposition, to show you where God is not approving that type of behavior. But Ray, I'm coming to you on this in terms of, even your legal background, having cases, seeing young juveniles, being in that environment. Speak to it, brother.
Yeah, man, this is something, near and dear to my heart, because for more than 25 years, I was on the front lines of it. I saw it every day, daily, and I think a product of it is, as you mentioned earlier, right? You said you had a math problem, you couldn't figure it out. Your teacher said you spending too much time on the problem and not the solution. Well, we're in a solution based environment with you on the show. So we know what the problem is. The problem is kids have too much access to guns without proper parenting. So they're out there learning like we did on the streets. So what we learned how to do was play games, get better at sports. They're learning how to be fake gangsters because when we got into fights as kids, it was to take it from Friday. I mean, we did it with these, and you won some and you lost some, but you lived to fight another day. See, they're cowards. So they got access to these guns, but nobody's teaching them how to shoot. So as you saw in that video from Houston, which was heartbreaking, it sounded like it was a war area, and so all these bullets are being fired out of these guns. These kids don't know what they're shooting at and how to shoot. So what you have is, as you had in the first two stories, you have collateral damage. A grandmother who gets killed, or a mother who gets killed, or a kid that gets killed, or somebody getting killed because these people are just firing at will, not knowing what they're doing. So that takes me back to what I initially said is, what's the solution? Well, the solution becomes people like Jabril Rashad or Marcus Cooks or Headache or Tim Jackson. These people who care enough to decide, I want to give my time and be a voice for people who need it, who people that want to listen to you. As Marcus said, you're not going to get all of them, but the ones you get, you are saving them from being in a situation where now they're locked up and now their lives have been taken from them, because when they come back, yeah, you come back a free person, but no, you really still got those shackles on you, because now you can't vote, or now you can't have a gun. Now people don't want to hire you. So you come out of incarceration with this scarlet letter on you that prevents you from being able to be a normal citizen again. So we want to keep people from going down that road because we know how difficult that road is. So you need people like you and people who are coming on the show and people that's going to be involved. And I am a student athlete that's going to be out there giving their time to help these kids stay out of the streets, or off the streets, and tell them that there's more to do. And it's not just sports. We've all played sports. We've all excelled at sports. It's not about sports. It's about the time and seeing somebody who's willing to give their time and being an influence on somebody's life, as opposed to being somebody that's taken away from their lives.
Absolutely. Headache, I want you to speak to that again. We're talking about the system in and of itself. The system, do we stay with it, man? Keep the same normalcy, or do we eradicate it?
Keep making a difference, Jabril. Keep making a difference. This is real. It ain't going nowhere. People always ask me, hey, Headache, what was the difference in you? I said, when I went from Stephen Headache Smith to 010444748, that shit, it hit home. It was big. And guys like you, Marcus and Ray, y'all make a difference, man. That's what it's all about. Just make a difference. I can't sit up here and elaborate enough on all the OGs that's going before me. I don't want to repeat myself, but bottom line is a change need to be made, and it's gonna take guys like yourself and it's guys like us speaking up on ideas and everything. What we need to do is focus on making a difference. That's all I can say. That's
Without question, Headache. And Tim, before I come to you, I just want to, because something Headache was talking about, and even Ray, you was speaking to this in terms of the community in and of itself, man. I just recall, we had men in our community, like if Daryl Alexander was on here with me tonight, we know him as Squinky. His dad, Mr. Alexander, he was that guy. He was that patriarch that was in our community. And
yes, sir.
You pretty much, you respected that house at the corner for sure. And like you said, there were times when you get into a situation or into trouble, man. Shoes, man. I mean, the news traveled real fast. It beat you home. And if you didn't get your butt spanked, man, by the next door neighbor, you had a spanking coming. I remember walking home from school one day and we was picking pears or whatever it was off this tree. Old man came out there and he scolded us real good. Do not pick them pears off his tree. And that was respect. We didn't give him no smack. We didn't say, oh, going on somewhere, old man. But these kids today, that's exactly what they'll do. Man, I got a plethora of videos that I could have shown, one after the other. We're talking about the young man who went and murdered somebody. When we went before the judge, and y'all may have seen this, may not have seen it. When he went before the judge, oh, he just thought it was just one of those things where, just another day of stroll through the park. And that judge said, your crime carries capital punishment, the death penalty. Death penalty or a life sentence. And it's like his whole stomach came up through his mouth. He just fell to his knees. In another video, when the dad asked the police officer, the sheriff, he said, hey, man, can I just have one last word with my son? And the son was sitting on the bench. He had the shackles around his ankles. He was handcuffed, and he was breaking down, crying. And the old man looked at him and just told him, he said, hey, man, I told you, man. He was still hurt as a father. You could see it, but he said, I told you, man. He said, I try to talk to you and talk to you and talk to you. And now they're going to regulate you. They're going to tell you when to eat, when not to eat. See, they're going to tell you when to go outside, when not to go outside. And again, Tim, I'm getting ready to come your way. When we look at the situations going on, especially with the administration that's in now, all I'm trying to do with the youth summit, man, is trying to get out in front of this thing. Because education, what do God say in scripture? That his people suffer from what? Education, a lack of knowledge. And so what's going to happen? They're going to call it racism. Oh, they're just locking up young black males and so forth and so on. No, they're going to have a drag net, because you're going in and just busting out windows in a jewelry store or these retail stores, going into the retail stores, yanking clothing up off the racks. Well, these people ain't going to sit back and let you interfere with their commerce. You can believe that. So just get ready. And don't call it racism. Don't complain on social media when you got individuals like Jabril Rashad and Ray Jackson and Stephen Smith and Tim Jackson and Marcus Cooks and Mark Tolliver and all these other great brothers, the Rodney Woods, the Anthony Bonners. Don't complain then, the Antoine McVeigh. Don't complain then when we did the summit and you didn't show up, but now you want to whine and complain. That's what we're talking about now. Not addressing so much the problem, but working on the solution. So again, Tim, I'm gonna come to you so we can try to, continue to work on the solution to this alienating problem, man, that we have in our community. Because again, charity starts at home, then it spreads abroad. I have to take care and protect what's mine first before I can be anything to anybody else. So Tim, I want you to speak to the eradication of this system and getting us out of this normacy, so to speak. If somebody got their phone on mute for me, I'm getting some feedback. So Tim, go ahead and speak to that.
Yes, my brother. You know me, don't you? So I'll say this: some people, in saying know me, some people may know me from playing in Nebraska, making All-American, playing with Dallas Cowboys, playing in Washington, San Diego. That's a different people who may know me, but a lot of people know me, and they barely knew about me playing sports because I didn't lead with that. And that's what running the couple of communities I ran, just a couple of communities I'll speak about, ran more than those. One of them, I've seen this before. It was in Fort Worth. It's like an OK Corral. These kids were shooting each other with guns, running away from each other, shooting each other like we used to play games of like Cowboys and Indians, as they used to say back in the day. And they used to shoot each other, right? We shoot each other. But they running doing this type of thing. And at that time, I was like, you got to be kidding me. But I wasn't surprised because I had just ran a community that I worked so hard and diligently upon that was on First 48. There was a group that actually had killed a kid with a drive-by shooting into somebody's apartment. And there was a bullet hole in the apartment still to this day. And so in that community, the first thing that you find is that there's a fear in that community. The kids don't come out and play. When it's too dark, they don't move. They don't move about. They stay still. And what you have to first build is trust. People are not going to do anything unless they trust somebody. So you have to be a pillar to them. And then you got to be someone who actually they can believe in, they can come to, they can talk to and tell you what their problems are, right? This is a part of the solution. We come in, we build. And then you got to get out in the middle of it. You got to create a vision. You got to get out there in there. I had kids. I call them kids, but they was like 20-some years old, came running up with a gun in their back saying, hey, I heard you've been talking about me. I said, no, right in my face, got a gun. I said, no, I haven't been talking about it. Because I I said, yeah, I've been talking about you. That's what I said. I said, yeah, I've been talking about you. I haven't said anything that I wouldn't say to your face, like I'm gonna tell you right now. I said, you're being watched. They're watching you. You need to make better decisions. I know you can because I believe in you. You got to believe in you. For you to make the next step forward, you got to believe there's something more than what you're doing right now. Because otherwise, they're going to find a way to make you, eradicate you from actually being a part of voting. They're going to eradicate you from having the ability to actually make a living. They're going to actually put you, you're going to be in the new slave labor, which is a part of prison. And they're going to create money off of you being there because you're going to have to work while you're there. So they have a whole new game that they're playing, and you're going to fall to that system. I'm here for you. You can reach to me. You can come talk to me. So what do I have to do next? Hey, that sounds all good, but what do? You build programs. So I had an after-school care program for the kids after they got home from school to actually go in and learn how to be to be tutored. So we have the after-school tutoring program for the kids. A whole little group that did that every day. Also, we came in, we built a garden and we built a playground, and we had Target and the city community and all of them come out to help with these type of things. Had to build a vision because those kids wouldn't even come outside and play when I first started there. So they had to feel safe. They had to feel that somebody believed in them and that they had a way out of this situation. Until they believe that, they will continue what they're doing. So what we're trying to do and what we are doing and what we'll continue to do is actually provide something for these kids to have something to eat on, to feed themselves, to believe, to have that strength and that courage to actually do more than what they have believed in their past. Because we want to change that your future is not like your past. Right. You have a new path and you can actually create it, and we're going to help you do that. We're going to guide you, we're going to nourish you, we're going to uplift you, and we're actually going to help you see a new vision.
Absolutely. Well, guys, we're coming up on the last 15 minutes, 15, maybe 20 minutes of the show. I got one more question I want to get in. You know, we have the platform and stuff set. I'm reserving my man Tim, as you see, as he eloquently said, in terms of the future, man, trying to help them get out of their past and get out of their way, and so that they can have a better future. Because again, it's all about education. It's all about education. And for those who, when God asked the question in our scripture, is those who know like those who don't. It's a rhetorical question. The blind is not like the seeing, and the one who knows is not like the one who doesn't know. So education is so important. We understand that you're supposed to search for knowledge from the cradle even unto the grave. So we don't believe in this word when we say, well, he's graduated or she graduated. No, life is a gradual process of learning. And if you're not learning, then you become stagnant. You become stagnated. You should be learning something every day until God calls your soul home. So that's one of the reasons why this summit, you see why I named it Youth Educational Entrepreneurship Summit. The Youth Educational Entrepreneurship Summit. We're going to be talking about work development. We're going to be talking about the business behind sports. We're going to be talking about financial literacy. We're going to be talking about NIL. We're going to be talking about contracts. We're going to be talking about just about whatever it is we can think about, investing and so forth and so on. So it's not just something just to be talked about. Again, it's absolutely free. So if you know of someone, you got a relative, cousin, aunt, niece, whatever it is, bring them out. Bring them out Friday, March the 28th, up at the Wilma Hutchins Auditorium from 6 to 9 p.m. 5:30, the doors will be open. Okay. We also have Officer Terry from the Dallas Police Department, Officer Tolbert, and Officer McCarthy. They'll be joining us to be able to support and speak as well. So this is not something, and believe me, and this is not something that we're looking just to do one time. We're talking about a series of this happening. So guys, I'm going to come up on the final question that I want to ask. But first, before I do that, let me give a big shout out to my man, Marcus Bay. Peace and blessings to you, my brother. Glad for you to join us on this show. That's another intellectual brother. He worked with the youth as well. He's been a teacher, a mentor to a lot of youth, man. So good evening to you, my brother, Marcus Bay. So guys, again, and Marcus, I'm glad you did come on. I hadn't had a chance to reach out to you, but yes, if you're available for that Friday evening, March the 28th, definitely, man, have those kids come out, man, to Wilma Hutchins, man, because this is going to be an outstanding opportunity to make a tremendous impact on our youth, because it's just done got crazy out there. So, guys, I want to ask you all this final question. And Headache, I'm gonna come to you first on this one. And it's just a simple. It's a simple question. No, this shouldn't even take. This shouldn't even take you five seconds to answer. No, but really, I want to know from you guys, and think about it. When you got the call from me, what inspired you all to want to get in this movement to be able to give back and help our youth? That's it. That's the simple question. What has inspired you?
Damn, you want to get deep, man. All right. I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna keep it real with you, Ray. I'm gonna keep it real with you, Jabril. This is the realest thing I can tell you. When you hit me with that, man, you know I met you through my cousin Mookie, rest in peace, because
absolutely.
This is the realest thing I can tell you. Since I started speaking, my biggest thing was make a difference. That's why when we was off air, I said, Ray, oh, what we gonna eat, man? Hey, I need to talk to you, this and that. It's about, it's not how you start the race, it's about how you finish. We all fall down. It's Marcus at Big M, TJ, everybody that did some things in life that they regret. But we still here. When I went from Stephen Headache Smith to 010444748, I didn't even catch on to it. I didn't get it. But I knew God had a bigger plan for me. And now that I'm on a different level speaking, I'm able to speak at the NCAA, Major League Baseball, NBA. Now that I'm doing what I do, my biggest thing is this: make a difference. And when you call, and I knew the platform, when I saw what you had last week, you had Rodney Woods, you had all the guys, Mark Tovey, all the people that you had on there, those were the who's who of the community. When I saw the platform that you had, I was like, hey, this is what you're trying to do. You're trying to make a difference. I was all in.
Absolutely, man. I'm so glad that you was all in too, because I was, I wasn't gonna give up until if you told me something different, I still would have been like, hey, man, because sometimes we need individuals like myself, man, because look, I tell people not being braggadocious or anything. I had my choices of school to go and play in the Big Eight and all that. I chose Texas El Paso because it was a throwing conference, but yet they was at the bottom of the cellar. And the guy that hosted me happened to be the first cousin to Eric Dixon. His name was Robert Dixon from Galena Park. He played running back. He said, man, I don't know what you did in high school. He said, well, man, they want you bad, man. I said, well, you know what, man? They throw the rock and I want to go back to corner, right? I say all that to say, when me, Tony Tobe, and the rest of our crew, we went there, we changed that program. We got them to the first bowl game in 1988 where we lost to Brent Favre and them in Southern Miss. But the whole thing for me, it was about changing something. See, I ain't never really want to stone with the big dog. I go with the underdog. See, we underdogs, so they think. And when the devil is so busy with his people, his tribe, he really got these people conditioned to think that, God people are the underdogs now. It's only like that because we allowed it to be. And one of my favorite saying, I'll say it, I'll keep saying it, and Tim, you might can repeat it. I've said it so much. In order for evil to prevail, good people do nothing. We stand back on the sideline and we keep watching, thinking somebody else gonna pick up the mantle to do it. No, man, I just saw it. And I said, you know what? I know who I can call. God, you give it to me. And so I got my brothers here, man. And Headache, I saw your development coming along, man. And so when I see where you was before where you are today, it was all about growth and growing. But the person I'm finna come to right here, I definitely seen his maturation, man, and where he's been and what and the journey that he's been on and where he's headed to. I'm very proud of my brother Marcus right here. But Marcus, I'm asking you the same question. When you got the call from your big brother, and yes, I am the big brother. For y'all who are watching, these are my at the top, they call me, and God rest in peace. Our youngest brother. See, that's why I got to talk about this. Can't talk about it too long because it gets me emotional. My young brother was murdered back in 2020. And see, people won't know that story because it really hits home when you don't see your little brother body decomposing for 17 days, and he would go out like that. You understand? So when I see these young boys, and Ray, by the way, those kids shooting like that was in Dallas. I just had to mix up the clips. That's right here in the backyard. So that's what I'm saying, man. It's time to get in the game of life and stop playing around with those who want to work on behalf of Satan. Because for God I live and for God I die. I keep telling people that. See, all you gotta do is put us in voodoo, as we say ablution. Y'all hear that sound, Bismillah Akbar? That means get out the way. That means it's over with. My brother Marcus will tell you. Back then we used to say, "Oh, that's Jimmy Snooker." I say Jimmy Snooker. That's an inside joke between he and I doing wrestling WWF back then. I say Jimmy Snooker. I'm losing it.
Yeah.
But anyway, let me come to my brother Marcus. Speak to it, man. What made you galvanize yourself, your inner strength, to want to come and do this platform, brother?
Well, first of all, I just give praise and honor to God, man, for allowing me to be here and just to be available. I want to make myself and keep myself available when God is moving, and I obey what God say do. I trust in Him. I prayed about this before I even gave you the answer. And God said, you doing what I need you to do. So whatever platform that it is, and I was just honored that you would ask me to come on and be a part of this movement, because this is a movement, and that we all got to stay focused. We all got to be real about whatever this movement is going to be. So I was honored with that. And you already know at this time of night, I'm already in the bed at 6:30 because I get up early. But I say, no, I'm gonna be up tonight. I ain't gonna miss it tonight. I'm gonna be up. But I just thank God, man, that that He's blessing, He's strengthening us, and He's gonna bless someone on the 28th. He's gonna bless. It's gonna be a blessing. We think we are taking a blessing, but it's gonna be a blessing given to us. Just being obedient. You have to be obedient to do God's will. So I trust God to move, and that's where I stand at, man. And like I say, I appreciate it. I thank you. You my oldest brother, but I respect you, and I respect what you're doing. And I just pray to God to keep His hand all over you, keep his angels camped over you, because the devil is going to get busy. He don't want none of this to go down. But guess what, man? We are soldiers, and we're going to conquer this thing. Just keep pushing forward. But a lot of brothers get in line with us, man. So just keep pushing forward. So I'm good with that.
I appreciate it, brother. And Ray, coming to you on the last question of the evening. What inspired you, brother? I'll meet your mic, Ray.
Yeah, naturally, when your big brother asks you to do something, you jump, right? So that's the short answer. The little bit longer answer is that you want to be a part of the solution. You want to be there to help others, to reach down. I think about there's a novel. It's called Those Who Remain, and one of the sayings in it is always something that I think about. And it says, hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. It's that vicious circle, right? And so I don't know what times we're in, but we have a lot of weak men, and weak men are the ones who are out here that's causing all the and wreaking all the havoc. So I want to be a part and to help any way I can to be involved in anybody who wants to do something positive, especially when it comes to my brother.
Love, bro. Love, bro. Tim.
Hold on,
Go ahead.
Ray Jackson.
Yes, sir.
Everybody gonna need a smartphone to Google what you just did, what you just said. You supposed to drop the mic with what you just said. That was some of the realest shit I done heard in a long time, man. Hey, that's real, man. For real. I'm sorry, TJ. Do your thing, but Ray, hey, RJ, you just said a mouthful, man.
Well, thank you, Headache.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. TJ, you say what to that question though, in terms of what inspired you, man, to come onto the platform, even though I'm preserving him. Because, like, again, this is not just for my mind. This is chess for me. I'm already looking down the road. So I said, I gotta. Well, God is working this. I gotta preserve Tim for something else, because when I say this brother been riding with me, man, through and through since I've been back and so forth, man, and on these shows ain't always been what we thought it would be, but we stayed the course with it, man. And I got some other stuff, some irons in the fire that I'm definitely working on, and I definitely would have you guys anytime, man, to be a part of it. But Tim, you say what to that? What have inspired you to come and support and be a part of what we've already been continuing to do, and this youth summit on Friday, March the 28th?
It's a calling. It's one of my callings. And it's funny, we think about this. Do you remember when we were sitting there and we was contemplating, we was going over some of the things we were thinking should be a charity, right? And you remember we were sitting there and we was thinking about the Michael Jackson song, Man in the Mirror, right? We used that.
Make a Change Foundation.
Yes. Yeah. So we was thinking about the change that we needed. And we started with the Man in the Mirror first. We looked at ourselves and said, okay, how can we be better? How can we actually help others be better? But the first part we had to do was make sure we looked at ourselves. Absolutely. And so in that, we had a mission, and that mission hadn't I think it's been a part of us our whole entire life. We've had a vision that says, hey, how do we help our fellow man? And that has been a part of my heart, my spirit, my soul. And so with my brother and all my brothers that's on this platform, right? And
right,
you know it. So as we come together, we make a difference. See, one, like they say, one you put you plant a little plant, one seed, right?
Right.
And it grows and flourishes, and then it actually multiplies, right? When you have multiple seeds, they flourish and they multiply much faster. Long as they have the pollen, as long as you have the bees that come and get it. So we need all you bees out there to come get this pollen so we can spread this out, and it can become what we want it to be. It can multiply and let's build a community, and as you said, drive it to be a movement. And we can do that if we come together.
Absolutely. Well, guys, that's gonna conclude tonight's show. This is the replay again, where we still try to make you guys a day. And this is featuring I Am Student Athlete. I want to remind you guys that you can see scrolling across the bar, for those of you who are still on with us, you see where it says Youth Educational Entrepreneurship Summit 2025. Again, that's at Wilmer Hutchins High School Auditorium, Friday evening from 6 to 9 p.m. Doors open at 5:30 p.m. Also, I want to share with you all this, because I just put this out this week. We're going to be doing, not only do we have the 28th, but on Saturday, the 29th, that morning at 10 a.m., we're going to have the National High School Combine. And that's sponsored by I Am Student Athlete, but I'm also on the board of the people that are coming down. These people coming out of town from Charlotte, North Carolina. They are the wardens, father and son, and they go all across the country doing the National High School Combine. And we're going to have a second opportunity to mentor these kids. We got young high schoolers. So this is the flyer that I'm putting up on that. You see Thomas Cook Jr. that played over at state champion North Crowley will be in the house. Okay. Also, you have Braylon Edwards over at Duncanville will be in the house. And we got a plethora of kids from the DeSoto Nitro Track Club. So we're looking to still do what we do, educate our youth, to make an impact with our youth, to ensure that they have the proper tools that they need to continue to survive. And let me say this. When someone asks me, Tim, put your phone on mute. I think that's your phone, Tim. I'm not for sure. But let me say this. When someone asks me in terms of numbers and all this, I say, listen, I don't get into the numbers because that belongs to God. All we do is call. As my brother Marcus said earlier, this is our duty. We discharge our duty. How they respond, God moves the people, moves the hearts. So we're just putting it out there. Again, we're doing this on the 28th as well as the 29th. We got a combine. You can go and get all the information. If you go to my website, which is www.iamstudentathlete.org, or you can go to SAC Showcase I believe that is. I may have left something off. You'll get all the information there for the combine. But if you got a nephew, you got a little brother, a little cousin, let them know, because what they do, they collect all the data to try to help these kids get into college. That's the whole reason behind this. I got a few recruiters myself that I speak with from time to time, as well as college head coaches. So we're trying to train these kids, whatever position they play. We're doing the 7-on-7 defensive backs. That's my specialty. Wide receivers, quarterbacks, running backs, so forth and so on, and even offense and defensive linemen. So we're going to be talking about that more next Tuesday, about the camp that's on the 29th, that morning, Saturday morning at 10 a.m. So again, don't get lost on that. And I was going to say this when I conclude. One of the reasons why we're doing the summit was because it was always my thing to have an orientation. And coaching kids for so many years, 11 years straight with the Oak Cliff Jets, as well as the Mid-City Giants, I felt like we was doing these things, but when do we spend time trying to educate our kids and give them an orientation? So this is how God blessed me. Say, pow, why not go ahead and do a summit? So that's why we're having the summit prior to the camp. Makes sense? So that's what we're doing. And so again, guys, I don't know what Ray, I guess he decided to go ahead and check out early. I'm gonna have to penalize him on that. He got to give me 50 push-ups or something. But truthfully, again, this has been a wonderful evening speaking with you all regarding the Youth Summit. Don't forget again to hit the like, the share, and subscribe button. We're still growing the channel. I want to thank Ray Jackson for coming on, my brother Marcus Cooks, my brother Tim Jackson, and I'm gonna say my little brother Steven Headache Smith for joining me this evening. Guys, love you brothers, man. I can't wait till we get there on that Friday. I'll be group chat, put some stuff in the group chat and so forth. But we're gonna keep this thing going. Next week it's gonna be the showtime where we go up against Satan and his influence and his army. We coming, y'all. We are coming. I want to again thank y'all for joining me this evening, man. Go ahead and get some sleep, little bruh. I know you've been to bed by now. And I'm going to talk to y'all soon, man, okay? Peace and love, man.
TJ and Marcus, much love, man. Y'all hold it down.
Much love, my brother.
All right, my brother.
All right.
Yeah.
I am through the athlete.
I am through the athlete. Watch the replay.